What's up, family? A nuclear warning has been submitted. The United States is coming under attack from multiple directions. The U.S. is in crossfires between Russia, China, North Korea, and these unidentified flying objects, as well as COVID-19, inflation, and the possibility of a recession. Should we start preparing now or later? I would say right now, as Russia continues to threaten the U.S. with a nuclear attack if we don't mind our own business. Vladimir Putin is raising the tension. He is raising it up to the highest bar that we have seen pretty much ever in history. Yes, guys, and this is all because the United States continue to not mind their own business. Yes, guys, Putin is now raising the tension in Ukraine or on Ukraine in regards to this unprovoked war, which, by the way, the anniversary is going to be hitting in a couple of days on Friday. And American people, as well as people in other countries, as well as Ukrainians, as well as even people in Russia, are hoping that this war ends sometime this week. But on the other hand, guys, it doesn't look like it's going to end anytime soon. And that is because the United States continues to support Ukraine with different things like money, ammunition, firepower, equipment, tanks, and even the possibility of providing some F-16 jets, but not as of yet. But according to Vladimir Putin in Russia, he says that this is all because of the United States won't mind their own business. And yes, guys, it appears that the United States is pretty much the biggest supporter of the Ukrainians in regards to defending themselves in this unprovoked war in Ukraine. So anyways, guys, Putin is not necessarily happy about it, in which a lot of people are calling for Putin to go ahead and end this war. But then on the other side, Putin is blaming the West in regards to this particular war. And Putin has already said that if the West just continues to mind their own business, this war could potentially be over. But then the United States said that if Putin calls off this war, the war would be over and the Ukrainians will continue to have their own homes in which they are continuing to defend it. But Putin said if the West continues to butt out of their own business, this war could be over because Putin could actually own Russia and the Ukraine. But anyways, guys, let's go ahead and look at exactly how much the United States is actually spending and giving to the Ukrainians. And we have the information right here, guys. It says that how much has the U.S. given to Ukraine? Well, if we look at these particular numbers, guys, these are the largest donors of military aid to Ukraine. And guys, I know you guessed it correctly. The United States has given the most money thus far. In fact, the U.S. has given around $46.6 billion in military aid to Ukraine. And following them is the UK, around $5.1 billion, and then so on this particular list. But guys, look at the amount of money the U.S. has given in compared to everyone else. It's pretty much the U.S. has given more than all of the other countries put together, which is why Putin is pretty much blaming this war on the West, which is particularly talking about the United States, because the U.S. won't mind their own business. But anyways, guys, Putin has now issued a nuclear warning to the United States, and he is also threatening to resume weapons tests. Yes, guys, the Russian President Vladimir Putin says that he would be suspending Russia's participation in the Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty with the United States because the U.S. continues to provide more military aid to the Ukrainians. And yes, guys, like I said, Putin is pretty much blaming the United States because of this. And now he has suspended his nuclear arms treaty as the U.S. and Russia tensions continue to build up because of the Ukrainian war's anniversary that is happening this Friday on February the 24th. Guys, when will this war end? We still don't know yet. We don't even see an opportunity for this war to end as of yet, in which different people are calling on this war to end. Russia people are calling for it to end, as well as all other countries are calling for it to end. Even China, which is Russia's ally, they are calling for this war to end as well. However, they potentially could be providing some military aid to Russia. They haven't said as of yet, but they haven't ruled out the opportunity to provide them with more military aid. So we could see that very, very soon, which continues to make China another adversary against the United States as well. So now the U.S. is dealing with China, Russia, as well as North Korea. They continue to test these military missiles being shot over the Japan Sea. So again, guys, the United States won't mind their own business, which is causing these other countries to raise the tensions against the U.S., which means that we could be on the verge of having a nuclear war, a World War III, if the U.S. don't mind their own business. Or like I said in the last video, if the U.S. continues to be a bully towards other countries. But anyways, guys, we also have heard during the Munich Conference in which they sent a strong message of support for Ukrainians in opposition to Russia. It says that at the Munich Security Conference last weekend, I kept thinking of Mark Twain's famous response to a newspaper that has mistakenly printed his obituary. The rumors of my death are greatly exaggerated. At the Munich Conference, it was clear that the rumors of NATO's death had been greatly exaggerated. Now, Putin's invasion of Ukraine has revived our Atlantic alliance around our shared devotion to freedom and the rule of law. Gone are the heady years after the end of the Soviet Union, when some of both sides of the Atlantic imagined a day when Russia would actually join NATO. Ended are the dreams of some of our European allies that after the Cold War and 2 world wars on their continent, they would enjoy a long time of peace and unity. So anyways, guys, like I said, the Europeans understand that they are threatened mostly by the Russian President Vladimir Putin, but their strong and unified response to an invasion of Ukraine would not have happened without the extraordinarily support of the United States, led by President Biden administration and the bipartisan majority in Congress. At the Munich, Vice President Harris and Secretary of State Antony Blinken eloquently and passionately made the case for freedom and the inviolability of national boundaries. The Vice President accused the Russians of committing war crimes as of now. So anyways, guys, all of this, when you put it all together, this is pretty much raising some huge tensions between the United States and these other 3 countries. And the biggest question is, guys, are we headed towards World War III? It does look like we are getting closer than we ever have been in the past, and it looks like it is continuously heating up every single day, every single week, every single month. As long as this war in Ukraine continues to happen and the United States continue to offer billions of dollars in military aid and equipment and things like that, even training, it looks like the tensions are going to continue to rise and rise, especially as Russia continues to take control of Ukraine. But in a huge statement by President Biden, he said over the weekend when he was speaking in Poland in regards to the war and the anniversary that is coming up, President Biden says that Ukraine will never be a victory for Russia. He said this in a major speech that pretty much reached all over the world. And of course, Russian President Vladimir Putin heard this speech, and he said that that is pretty much from the U.S. calling on a nuclear war to happen. So will we be on the verge of having a nuclear attack against the United States right now, sometime this year? It does look like we are moving very, very close to this. And guys, I do want to warn you that you might want to go ahead and start preparing for this rather now than rather later. And even as the war continues to happen and the United States continue to provide military aid to the Ukrainians are not necessarily as full happy as of yet, because they still want to receive some additional equipment, such as aircraft, in which the Ukrainians are asking for military aircraft so that they can control the airspace over Ukraine to prevent the attacks from Russia, in which Ukrainians are not the only ones that are asking for aircraft to be provided to Ukrainians. The pressure on President Biden to supply some F-16s continues to mount up ahead of the anniversary that is coming on Friday. And yes, guys, the Biden administration is facing mounting pressures from the U.S. lawmakers and Ukrainian officials to equip Kyiv with F-16 fighter jets as Russia's war approaches its one-year anniversary later this week. And just after the administration last month announced that it would send 31 Abrams battle tanks to Ukraine, Kyiv renewed its calls for modern fighter aircraft. President Biden at the time said no to sending F-16 fighter jets to Kyiv and the Ukrainians. So anyways, guys, the pressure is on. The pressure is on President Biden to provide even more military aid to the Ukrainians. And now they are asking for F-16 fighter jets, which I believe that if Kyiv and Ukrainians do receive some of these F-16 fighter jets, they would totally be able to defend their country. However, these F-16 fighter jets, they are not cheap. They are super expensive, guys, which will potentially raise the amount of money that the U.S. is providing to the Ukrainians, which would also increase the amount of debt that the U.S. is enduring. So anyways, guys, I know it is a huge struggle for President Biden as well as the Biden administration to decide on whether or not how much money and how much military aid you are going to supply the Ukrainians with, which I will say a couple of weeks ago, President Biden said he will continue to provide military aid as long as they need to in order for the Ukrainians to defend their country. But when will it ever stop, guys? When will the United States stop writing the blank checks to the Ukrainians? Guys, what do you think about this? Do you think that we need to provide F-16 fighter jets, or do you think enough is enough and Ukrainians have to figure out it for themselves? Let me know how you feel about this down below in the comment section. I'm curious to see your thoughts on this whole entire issue, because it is pretty much sending the United States towards World War III, and we could be on the verge of receiving a nuclear attack either by Russia, by China, or even as much by North Korea. So anyways, guys, hey, that's all I have for you today, and I hope all this information was helpful to you. Well, anyways, guys, hey, that's all I have for you today. Do you think that we should be preparing now? Let me know down below in the comment section. But anyways, hey, feel free to check out some of the links down below, because there are a few offers to you if you want to support this channel, as well as some opportunities for you to receive some free things like money, cash in your pockets, or 12 free stocks from Webull, or even the Amazon Prime membership for totally free. If you are interested, those links will be down below. But anyways, if you enjoyed today's content and you want to see more, go ahead, subscribe to the channel. It's totally free. And if you like today's video, then go ahead and hit the like button for us. It really helps out this channel, as well as it tells YouTube to share this video with others. But anyways, hey, I appreciate you guys stopping by and watching, and I hope to see you on the next video. Peace.